In the far corner of the galaxy, a quiet alien listening post floated near a red dwarf star. For 200 years, this station listened to the radio waves from Earth. It recorded songs, movies, war news, and human voices. Most of the galaxy believed humans were harmless, weak, divided, not ready for space. Then, one day the station stopped talking. A patrol ship named Zurich 14 was sent to check. When it arrived, all it found was smoke and metal pieces floating. In silence, the walls were melted. The crew was gone. No distress signal had been sent. But something strange was left behind. Floating near the destroyed station was a long piece of metal. Burned into its surface were words in Earth's language. "We are coming?" The alien captain stared at it. "What does it mean?" he asked. No one answered, Dodd. On Earth, deep under the oceans, in a hidden military base, something massive was waking up. A long black ship rested on a metal platform. It was not like the peaceful science vessels Earth had launched before. This one was different. Its name was ESS Valiant. It was Earth's first real warship. It had no bright lights, no welcome flags, no friendly greetings. Its body was covered in black armor. Its weapons were hidden under the skin, waiting to open like a hunter's claws. There were no windows-only sensors. It had one purpose: to make the galaxy afraid. Captain Raina Cross stood at the command bridge of Valiant. She looked straight ahead, her face hard like stone. "Is the ship ready?" she asked her first officer. A quiet man named Briggs nodded. "Yes, Captain. All systems green. Crew is in position. AI is online. Stealth is active. We can launch." "In 10 minutes?" Captain Cross said nothing for a moment. Then she gave the order. "Launch the Valiant." The water above the base cracked open. The ship rose from the sea, silent like a ghost. It pierced the clouds and disappeared into space. The galaxy had watched Earth for centuries. Aliens had taken humans for experiments. Others had used Earth's weak governments for trade and control. No one took humans seriously, they thought. Earth was loud, but harmless. They were wrong. Earth had remembered everything, every abduction, every insult. Every world that laughed when Earth begged for help. Now, Earth was not asking, was preparing. Inside the Valiant, the crew sat quietly. They were not like the old Earth space teams. These were trained soldiers. Some had lost family to alien slavers. Others were survivors of attacks Earth had never shared with the public. They had waited years for this mission. There were no reporters, no cheers, no leaders giving speeches, just silence. A silence heavier than war drums. One of the crew members whispered, "Do they even know what's coming?" Another replied, "They will." Hours later, deep in space, a message was sent from Valiant. It was short. It was simple. It was sent in every known galactic language. To those who took from Earth, we have not forgotten. On a space station belonging to the Dravik Empire, laughter echoed in the control room. Humans. One of the officers said, grinning, "They finally built a warship? That's cute. Should we be worried?" Another joked. "No," said. "Their commander. They don't have the guts. They'll talk, then hide, like always." That night, the Dravik station went dark. No one escaped. The only sign of what happened was a burned message on the wall. This was a warning. Back on the Valiant, Captain Cross walked past her crew. She did not smile. She did not rest. She simply said, "Next target, Sector 7. There's a slaver convoy there." First Officer Briggs looked up. "We hitting them hard?" Captain Cross stared into space. No survivors. The Valiant had no fleet. No backup. No support from other human nations. It didn't need any. It was built in secret. It was launched in silence. And now, it hunted alone. The galaxy was about to learn a painful truth. Earth had stopped talking. Earth had started remembering. And Earth had built a weapon, one that should not exist. A small alien cargo ship drifted through Sector 7. Inside were cages. In the cages, humans chained, bruised, and silent. Their eyes were tired. They had stopped dreaming years ago. The slaver captain, A fat creature with silver skin and sharp teeth sipped a drink. "They don't fight anymore," he said, laughing. "Humans are soft now, broken, easy money." Suddenly, the ship's lights blinked. The engines failed. The crew looked around in panic. "What's going on?" the captain growled. "No idea. Sensors are blind." Something's a loud boom cut the sentence in half. The hull ripped open. Air whooshed out. The ship shook violently. Something had hit them, but they couldn't see it. Then they heard a voice. Cold. Human. "Slavers of Sector 7. Your time is up." Main PLOT the Valiant had arrived. No warning, no hails, no mercy. It decloaked right above the Convoy 3 cargo ships, one escort, and a refueling station. All belonged to the Zarn Consortium, a black market slaver group. Captain Cross stood, calmly on the bridge. "Weapons ready?" she asked. "Ready," said Briggs. "All targets locked?" She raised one hand. "Begin." A storm of energy blasts tore through the void. The escort ship exploded first, the fuel station next. 1. Cargo ship tried to flee. It was gone in seconds. But the Valiant didn't destroy the last ship. Not yet. Instead, it boarded it. Inside the slaver ship, the crew heard metallic thuds, heavy boots, shadows moving in the smoke. Then humans appeared. Not prisoners, soldiers. Black armor, silent weapons, glowing red visors. They moved fast. Faster, one slaver tried to beg. A soldier answered with a bullet. Another tried to run. A knife hit his neck. It was not a battle. It was a message. The soldiers reached the cages. A young human girl looked up, eyes wide. "Are you real?" she whispered. The soldier knelt. "You're safe now." He broke her chains. Captain Cross walked through the smoking hallway. She stepped over Bodhi's. Calm, cold. She entered the control room. Slaver captain was there bleeding, crying. He tried to crawl away. "Please, Dot. I didn't take them myself. I was just following orders." Cross looked down at him. "We're not here for justice." He shook. "Then what do you want?" she whispered, fear. She turned to a soldier. "Leave him alive." The soldier looked confused, but nodded. They left one, just one, like always, back on the Valiant. The rescued humans were given food, water, blankets. No speeches, no promises, just quiet care. In the med bay, one of them asked a nurse, "Why now? Why did you come?" The nurse paused, and answered softly, "Because Earth was finally ready to stop being afraid." Later in the war room, Briggs looked at the captain. "You sure about leaving survivors?" Cross nodded. "Every empire, every system, every ship." "One survivor?" Briggs raised an eyebrow. "Why?" She didn't smile. "Because stories spread faster than bullets." Meanwhile, in a distant part of the galaxy, that one slaver crawled into an alien outpost. His body burned. His mind broken, he screamed, "They're coming! The humans! They're monsters now!" The officers laughed. One human ship. Against the galaxy? The slaver shook his head. "It's not just the ship. It's how they look at you. Like they already decided what part of you to burn." Back on Earth, the public still didn't know. No news, no headlines.
The mission.
It was secret, but in the darkest rooms of power. Leaders smiled. The message had been sent. The galaxy had killed and stolen from Earth for centuries. Now Earth had sent a reply. One ship, one crew, one mission. Not peace. Not war. Punishment. On a cold and forgotten moon, inside a stone bunker, 3 alien scientists laughed while watching old Earth videos. Humans dancing. Humans singing. Humans crying. "They are so emotional," one said. "They cry over small things." "Fall in love like animals," said another. "They are prey," said the third. "Easy to control." Their laughter echoed through the bunker. Then came a knock. Bang. Just one. On a door no one was supposed to find. On a moon no one visited. Silence followed. Then another knock. Bang, bang. The lights flickered. One of the scientists whispered, "That's not possible." But the knocking didn't stop. Main Pialota the bunker belonged to the Vrex Dominion, one of the cruelest empires in the galaxy. For 40 years, they captured humans for cutting their brains, breaking their bodies, recording every scream. They called it science. To Earth, it was war. The Valiant had found the location. Captain Cross stared at the hologram of the moon. No guards. No patrols. Just 3 scientists, Briggs said. Cross's eyes narrowed. Prepare. A Black Ops drop. Night covered. The moon like a blanket. The bunker sat in silence, surrounded by dead rock. Inside, the aliens locked the doors, activated the shields, and armed the turrets. They were not soldiers, but they had heard the stories. One of them turned to the security screen. Is the system working? The other checked. Yes, no one is out there. Then the screen went black. One by one, every camera died. Outside, Valiant hovered silently in orbit. Stealth systems made it invisible. 3 black dropships left its belly, gliding without a sound. Inside were 12 human soldiers, elite, calm, emotionless. They had one order: send a message. Inside the bunker, one of the scientists panicked. Activate the defense drones. I can't. The system isn't responding. The lights went red. Emergency alarms began to scream, but no explosions, no doors breaking, just footsteps, metal boots, getting closer, louder, slower, boom, 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 then silence, then whispers in English. They thought we were prey. Scream. Followed, then gunfire, then nothing. The next morning, Valiant stood still in orbit. No ships launched, no messages sent, just silence. On the moon, the bunker was open. Smoke poured from inside. The walls were painted with alien blood. All 3 scientists were dead, except one. He was found crawling across the rocks, skin burned, eyes wild. He screamed into the sky. They weren't soldiers. They were shadows, demons. Back on Valiant, Briggs leaned on the command rail. That survivor. You want him alive? Cross nodded once. Let him talk. Briggs frowned. Talk about what? She turned to him. About what happens when humans stop running. News of the attack spread fast. Too fast. The Vrex Dominion held emergency meetings. Panic grew. One warlord shouted, "It was only one ship." Another asked, "Why didn't they ask for peace?" An old admiral stood. Because we never gave them a choice. Why would they give us one now? Aboard Valiant, the crew gathered in the mess hall. No music, no jokes, just quiet. One soldier whispered to another, "I saw them cry. Those scientists, they cried like babies." The other replied, "Good. Let the galaxy learn." Captain Cross walked in. She looked at her people, then said only one thing. Next target. In the darkness of space, many alien empires had once called Earth a joke, a backwater world, a planet of noise. Now they whispered a new name, Death Ship. But the humans had not come to destroy everything. They had come to destroy what was done to them, and they always left one alive. One voice, one warning, one story. Because fear spreads faster than fire. A large alien warship, the Drosanok, floated near a twin star system. Its golden hull reflected the light of the suns. Inside were over 5,000 soldiers from the Tavari Empire, a species known for burning planets, enslaving the weak and mocking any who resisted. They had heard the rumors. They had seen the messages. Earth has launched a warship. Earth is hunting. Earth leaves one survivor. The Tavari general laughed when he saw the reports. "Let them come," he said. "They think one ship can fight us." He pointed at the stars. "We are the Tavari. We rule these skies." But that night, stars bled. Main PLO de Valiant watched from far away, hidden, silent. Its stealth systems were active. Its eye had mapped the Tavari fleet's patterns. Captain Cross stood on the bridge, her face calm. "Target?" asked Briggs. "The Drosanok," she said, "the heart of their pride." He looked unsure. "That ship is massive. We'll be outnumbered." Cross replied coldly, "They need numbers. We only need a reason." She gave the order. Engage. The Valiant moved, like a shadow through space. Its hull adjusted to match the background stars. Invisible, cold, focused, inside the Tavari warship. Alarms started flashing. Something is wrong. We're being jammed. Our sensors are blind. Then boom. A massive railgun round tore through the ship's right side. Steel melted, bodies flew. The Tavari screamed before they could even react. A second shot destroyed the weapons deck. Then came the dropships. Soldiers in black. Armor crashed into the Drasanok like falling. Thunder, no mercy. No talking, only killing. One Tavari officer raised his hands. Wait, I surrender. A human soldier looked at him, then shot him in the knee. You don't get to choose when this ends. The Tavari tried to regroup. Hundreds of them ran too. The main hangar. Waiting there. It's Captain Raina Cross. Alone, she stepped forward, slowly, helmet off. Her eyes cold, her voice steady. I'm from Earth, she said. You took our people, burned our colonies, called us weak. She pointed at the walls. Now you'll learn what weak really means. She raised her hand. Explosives hidden in. The hangar lit up. Flames swallowed the Tavari. Cross didn't move. Above the burning wreck, Valiant opened fire. Missiles screamed through space. Fighters exploded midair. The Tavari fleet panicked. They're not following rules. They don't retreat. They're hunting us. And they were right. This was not war. It was punishment. The next day, only one Tavari ship escaped. Small, damaged. Carrying one survivor from Drasanok, an officer with no left arm, his face half burned, he reached the nearest station and collapsed on the floor. Sobbing, "Don't fight them," he whispered. "Don't speak to them. Don't. Even let them know you exist. They aren't soldiers. They're what comes after soldiers." The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Many were angry. Others were afraid. They attacked without warning. They're targeting our history, our pride, our families. They leave only one alive. Always one. A gray-skinned diplomat stood and said, "We taught them fear for 100 years. He looked around the chamber. Now they're teaching us. Back on Valiant, the crew sat in silence. Some were bleeding, some were tired, but none complained. One soldier asked Briggs, "Why do we keep fighting?" Briggs didn't smile. He just said, "Because no one ever came for us. So now we go for them." Later that night, Captain Cross watched the stars alone. She opened an old photo on her screen. Her brother was taken by the Tavari as a child. Sold. Lost. She whispered, "This is for you." What? Then she shut the screen and said, "Next target, Cross." The stars. Alien empires watched the reports. Earth was no longer begging. Earth was no longer hiding. Earth had named its enemies, and one by one, they were falling. Deep in the black space between star systems, a merchant ship drifted silently. It was an old freighter, full of food and supplies. Its captain, a thin, insect-like alien, adjusted the controls inside. Another boring delivery. Then a small warning light blinked on. The comms officer looked up. "Something's behind us? Pirates?" asked the captain. "No, just one signal. Slow, silent." The captain narrowed his eyes. "Identify it." The officer froze. His hands shook. It's the Valiant." Everyone on the bridge stopped moving. The captain whispered, "No, why us?" Suddenly the lights went out. Outside, nothing could be seen, but they could feel it. Death had arrived. Main PL, alert. The Valiant didn't attack the freighter. It scanned it, watched it, then left no words. It's no fire, just fear. Across the galaxy, the name Valiant had become a whisper. A ghost story. A warning. Aliens told their children, "Sleep, or the humans will find you. Be quiet, or the Earthship will come." No one laughed anymore. The ship had destroyed 5 slave rings, 3 war fleets, 2 research labs where humans were tortured, and every time they left one alive. Just one, The Valiant didn't stop. Inside, the crew worked like a machine. No music. No dancing, just silence and orders. Captain Cross walked. Down the hallway, soldiers stood straight when she passed. She didn't smile, she didn't shout, she only said, "Stay sharp. We are the storm now." On a mining colony, an alien bar was full of noise. One drunk miner said, "I don't care about humans. They're small, weak. I could break one with my claws." Then someone asked, "Have you seen the Valiant?" The miner laughed. "What?" "That one ship," a voice behind him whispered. "It only needs one." The miner turned. A human sat there alone. The miner went pale. The Valiant had become more than a ship. It had become a fear that traveled faster than light. No one knew where it would strike. No. One could stop it. It didn't take prisoners. And it never made demands, only judgment. In the war room of the Galactic Alliance, leaders shouted over each other, "We need to send a fleet. We need to talk." Talk. You think they'll listen? They're not here for peace, they're here for revenge. A screen played footage from a destroyed station, human soldiers. Walking through fire, calm, silent, efficient. "They don't even speak to their enemies," said one leader. "They only look and decide if you live." Back on Valiant, Briggs entered the command center. "New location," he said. "A black site. Hidden lab. They're experimenting on human DNA." Cross looked up. "Coordinates." He handed her the file. She scanned. It then nodded. "Tell the crew." Briggs paused. "They're tired, Reyna. Even if they don't say it." Cross answered softly, "We don't stop. Not until they stop. This war started long before we fired a shot." She walked to the window, staring at the stars. "We were prey. Now we are the answer." In the lower decks, soldiers trained. Of the youngest whispered to the medic, "Are we doing the right thing?" The medic looked at him and said, "Right, I don't know. But we're doing what no one else ever did for us. We're standing up." In the lab, the target was already preparing for escape, but it was too late. The Valiant arrived. No warnings, no calls, just fire. Walls melted. Sirens screamed. Then, silence. The human team entered the main room. They saw the cages, the children, the pain, and then they acted. No words, no pause, just justice. One scientist was left, live, crying, bleeding. He was given a cum beacon and thrown out into space in a small pod. No one spoke to him, but inside his mind, one word echoed, Valiant. At a distant station, the pod arrived. The alien doctors pulled the survivor out. He shook and screamed. They never talked, never asked anything. One officer leaned in. "What did they want?" The survivor looked up. Tears fell down his cheeks. "They wanted us to remember, and across the galaxy, everyone did. One ship, one crew, one mission, and now one fear that never sleeps." A dark space station hovered near the Red Line Nebula. Huge, silent, shaped like a spiked wheel. Inside, dozens of alien warlords stood around a glowing table. "They're just one ship," said the green-skinned Suvax leader. "Why are we afraid?" The Tharn general slammed his fist. "They've destroyed 12 targets, took no prisoners." "They leave one alive," whispered another, "so we all learn." The room fell quiet. Then a screen lit up. A scout ship had found the Valiant, coordinates confirmed. Finally, for a year of fear, the galaxy had a chance. General Vrock stepped forward. "Good call, the fleet." He raised a clawed hand. "It's time we reminded the humans. They were supposed to stay on Earth." Main Peloti, the trap was set in Sector Zetanine, near a dead moon with no atmosphere. 5 alien fleets arrived, over 60 ships, each loaded with weapons, fighters, and thousands of troops. At the center of them all was the flagship Dreadmaw. 10 times larger than Valiant? "We will crush them in seconds," said Commander Thayer. But there was a problem. The Valiant had not arrived. On the bridge of Valiant, Captain Reyna Cross watched the enemy fleet gather. They really think we'll walk into their fire. Briggs muttered. Cross didn't blink. No, we make them chase us. She gave the order. Begin the run. Across 3 systems, Valiant began its trap. It appeared near a mining station. Fired 1 missile, then vanished. Appeared near a cargo. Lane destroyed 2 warships. Gone again, each time faster, smarter, quieter. The alien. Fleets grew frustrated. They're toying with us. Chase them. They split up, left the trap, broke their formation. Exactly what Valiant wanted. Inside the war room of the flagship. General Vrax shouted, "They are alone. One ship can't hide forever." Suddenly, every screen went dark. The Valiant had hacked them. Then a single human voice played, "We were weak once. You taught us fear. Now we teach you what comes after fear." The lights exploded. Valiant attacked from above. It dropped EMP bombs that disabled shields, railguns that tore through holes, stealth drones that sliced engines. The aliens panicked. "We can't track them. Our systems are blind. We're losing ships." Inside the alien cruiser Vorak, a captain screamed, "They're one ship. Are they everywhere?" Then he heard it thud, 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 boots on the hull. Boom. Explosion. Humans flooded in black armor, glowing eyes silent as ghosts. Back on the flagship Dreadmaw, General Vrax tried to run. He opened an escape pod bay, but it was already open. Captain Cross stood there waiting, leaving so soon. She asked calmly. He charged. She didn't move. 1 shot right between the eyes. Vrax fell. She walked past him. This was never a fight. It was a memory. When the battle ended, only 1 alien ship remained. Inside, 1 survivor sobbed, staring at the stars. "They don't speak," he said. "They don't stop. Their vengeance in a ship." The Galactic Council held another emergency meeting. The mood was different now. Fear had turned into silence. No one shouted. No one called Earthweek. They knew better now. Back on Valiant. The crew gathered. Some had bruises, some had burns, but all were standing. Briggs looked at Captain Cross. "What now?" She looked at the stars. "We move forward till they stop taking people." He nodded. Double quotes. "And if they never stop?" Cross whispered. "Then neither will we." "Cross the galaxy," survivors whispered. "You can fight them with fleets. You can chase them with armies. But you will never stop the Valiant.
Oh.
Because Earth doesn't send diplomats anymore. It sends reminders." A tall alien teacher stood in front of her young class on a peaceful trade world. She pointed to a star map and said, "This region is forbidden. You must never go there." A child raised his hand. "Why?" The teacher's smile faded. "There is a ship there." "It belongs to Earth," another student whispered, "Valiant." The room went quiet, then the lights flickered. The building shook. Everyone ran to the windows. Up in the sky, a long, dark shape moved past the clouds. No sound, no weapons, just fear. The Valiant had arrived not to attack, but to remind, and no one could stop it now. Main PLO TA after the great ambush failed. The galaxy tried a new tactic. Silence. They erased news of the Valiant from all media. No broadcasts, no stories, no records. The Council sent orders. If we stop talking about them, the fear will fade. But it didn't. People remembered the whispers. The destroyed fleets, the empty outposts, the single survivors who came back shaking and even without proof. The fear grew in dark alleys. Smugglers passed photos of the ship on secret networks. Videos played of humans fighting in fire and smoke. Even a small poem began to spread. One ship in black. One voice of flame. You hurt the weak, it learns. Your name. The Valiant kept moving. It attacked no planets. It took no treasure. But it never stopped. Wherever humans were hurt, it appeared, destroyed the attackers, left one witness, and vanished again. In a high-level council meeting, one leader shouted, "They're spreading fear faster than we can hide it." Another added, "We blocked their name, their image, even their story." An old senator stood slowly. "You can block a name," he said, "but you can't block what they've become." Back on the Valiant, Briggs walked through the lower deck. He passed by sleeping soldiers, tech crews, and quiet medics. He met Cross in the observation room. "They're erasing us," he said, "pretending we don't exist." She didn't look away from the stars. "Let them." Briggs frowned. "Why?" Cross replied. "Because fear spreads better in silence." On a small moon prison, a child slave heard a strange sound overhead. Deep hum. The guards looked up. Boom. Explosions. Screams. The walls came down, and through the smoke. Humans stepped out. No flag, no warning, just freedom. One boy stared at the dark ship landing outside. He asked the soldier next to him, "Who are you?" The soldier knelt down, smiled slightly, and said, "We're the reason your nightmares are." Scared now? The child survived, and like all the others, he told his story. On every world, every station. Someone always knew someone who had seen them, and every time they told it, the same line ended their tale. They only leave one alive. The Galactic Council grew, desperate. They hired assassins, sent shadow fleets, even used mind weapons. All failed because they didn't understand the truth. The Valiant wasn't a ship anymore. It was a message, one that said, "We remember what you did. We know where you are, and we are coming." For all of you, in a hidden room, a dying scientist whispered his last words into a recorder. They thought Earth was weak. They thought the humans would beg. But Earth only asked for one thing: time. And now, time is up. Back on Valiant, the crew stood quietly in the mission hall. Cross pointed to a new map. New target. Slave Vault. 500 human children. Briggs looked around at the tired faces, and then said what they all believed. "Let's go remind them why we never needed a fleet." Across the galaxy, people kept trying to silence the story, but it kept growing, because the Valiant didn't just fight. It made the truth impossible to forget, and in the dark, every species had the same nightmare, that one day they would look up and see it, the shape in the stars, the black armor, the cold eyes, and no ... Earth. Come a message was found, drifting through deep space. No sender, no signal, just a recording. Playing over and over again, "You should have left us alone. Should have never touched Earth. Now we don't speak. We remind." Across the stars, leaders listened with shaking hands. Pirates, slavers, scientists, commanders, each had tried to forget. Earth, each had believed Valiant was just one ship. They were wrong. And now, it was coming for the last one. Main Pialote in the darkest part of the galaxy, far beyond mapped systems, an old base floated above a dying star. Inside, alien scientists were working in secret. Their goal: create something to stop the humans. Something stronger, faster, without mercy. One scientist looked up from the lab screen. "We finished the clone weapon." Another asked nervously, "Do you think they'll find us?" Silence. Then the alarm rang. Red lights heavy. Footsteps, no warning. The doors blew open, and the black figures of the Valiant soldiers stepped through. Outside, the Valiant hovered like a shadow over the base. Missiles locked on, drones swarmed. A voice played through the enemies comes, "You created monsters. We became something worse." Back at the Galactic Council, panic returned. They found the last lab. How? They weren't supposed to know. An old ambassador whispered, "They always know." In the burning base, Captain Cross walked through the wreckage. She passed shattered tanks, failed clone soldiers, broken labs. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. She only stopped when she saw a human child locked in a test chamber. She pressed a button. The glass opened. The child looked up. "Are you real?" he asked. She nodded. "You're safe now." Briggs met her at the exit. "It's done." Cross looked around. "This was the last one," Briggs asked. "What happens now?" Cross answered softly. "Now they realize. It was never just about the ship. Flashback. Years ago back on Earth before the launch. The planet was quiet, burned, broken. After the galactic wars, humanity was nearly extinct. The sky was full of smoke. Nations were gone, but the people remained working underground, building something. Last ship. One last message, one last warning, they called it. Valiant. It wasn't made for peace. It wasn't built to explore. It was born from pain. Built by survivors, powered by rage, and aimed at the stars. The ship had no army, just volunteers, no orders from a government, just a promise that no human would ever be taken again? Back to Precnt in the Valiant. The crew stood in silence as Earth sent its final transmission. Mission complete. Return home. Some smiled, some wept. But Captain Cross looked forward. Not yet, she said. Briggs asked, Why not? We did it, she answered. Because they still think it was just one ship. And they don't know what happens next. Across the galaxy. Stories changed, no longer whispers, but warnings. They didn't launch a warship. They launched a memory. One that flies, one that hunts, one that remembers everything. One slaver captain screamed into the void. They said Earth only had one ship, and then a reply came. Calm, cold. We only needed one. As Valiant disappeared into the stars one last time, the galaxy finally understood. Earth wasn't weak. Earth wasn't gone. Earth had simply waited. And when the time came, it sent a single message. Never again. And that message had a name, Valiant.